Good morning, Arizona. Scott Passmore here with the latest stories we're following from the Arizona's family.
In ordinary times, we need to be resilient if we're going to thrive and grow. But these are no ordinary times. 2020 has been a year of unprecedented upheaval. A ferocious pandemic has sickened and killed thousands of Arizonans while devastating our economy almost overnight. In just 2 weeks, in March and April, over 200,000 jobs instantly disappeared, leaving 10% of Arizonans unemployed, which led to a frightening increase in food scarcity, delayed medical care, and housing insecurity. This shock to the system was quickly followed by explosive civil unrest, not seen in generations. Add to this calamity a worsening climate crisis that produced Arizona's hottest summer temperatures on record, resulting in heavy utility burdens while we try to keep cool, during a time of stay-at-home orders combined with income loss. Any single one of these shocks would be shattering enough, but all three at once? The toll on human lives, well-being, and housing loss is devastating. And yet we at the Knowledge Exchange for Resilience at Arizona State University see reason for hope. We want to honor community champions with a recognition of resilience. We see people and organizations coming together and responding to these challenges in remarkable ways.
My great-grandfather actually started dairy farming in Michigan in 1927, and then eventually got tired of the cold winters in Michigan and moved to Arizona in the early 40s. And so we've been here in Arizona ever since. My family has been milking cows for more than 90 years.
%90 of all the milk here in Arizona is produced locally. Every dairy farm in Arizona, and pretty much all across the United States, is a family farm. It takes a lot to produce milk, but it's one of the most nutritional foods you're gonna buy. You know, when you put an animal in a pen, that animal's life depends on you, and they're part of our family, so we really take care of them like they are our family, and they really are.
It'd be really great to have my great-grandfather and my grandfather here just to see the changes that have taken place. I think they wouldn't be able to really believe the things that have happened with dairy farmers around the country, you know, embracing science and technology and moving forward to be efficient, to provide a very healthy product to consumers. And so it's really fun to be a part of that process, a part of that story. You know, in a few months from now, all of this grass will be fed to the cows and converted into milk to make the dairy products that we all enjoy. And so you can see all of the different ingredients in with all the silages, the hays, the grains, all of the vitamins and minerals from the premix that we provide for the cows. So this ensures with every bite of feed they're getting a complete nutritional package. Nothing, you know, too much or too little. Every bite is exactly what they need. That is what's helped dairy cows to become much more productive over time. So in 1940 there were 26 million dairy cows in the United States. Today there are only 9 million. The 9 million dairy cows today produce more milk than the 26 million dairy cows produced in 1940. So the carbon footprint of a glass of milk has dropped by 2/3 since 1940. In the milking process itself, cows actually let their milk down. A stressful environment is the last thing we want around here. the cows are chewing their cud, it's a really good sign that the cows are very healthy and relaxed. It's very normal for a cow to regurgitate her feed and chew on it for a while, and that's like a meditative state that they're in, and so while they're getting milk, they're chewing their cud. My main job is to make sure that the cows are relaxed, that their stomachs are full, they've got plenty of water, plenty of clean bedding, and that's how you can be a successful, productive dairy farmer.
We have probably 200 truckloads a day of milk going to our co-op.
So being a member of the co-op of the United Dairymen of Arizona, UDA will help process the milk and distribute it to the different grocery stores out there. And so that's why it's really great to be part of a co-op, because we all kind of have each other's backs, we all chip in.
Here in Arizona, our cows are producing the best from January, April, May. And as dairymen here in Arizona, we call that our flush. And so we're at our peak. And then Corona hit us. So it was like that movie, The Perfect Storm, and it was the worst time for that to happen, and so we had to adapt big time.
When the pandemic hit in the spring, restaurants and businesses shut down, immediately closing off the primary market for dairy products. The shutdown caused an immediate crisis, not just for families, but for the farmers who were no longer able to distribute their pent-up supply through their usual channels.
I think our plant dumped 14 million pounds of milk. You know, the old saying is, don't cry over spilt milk. As dairymen, we do cry over spilt milk. We don't want to see anything wasted.
But through community resilience, crisis became opportunity. By working with Arizona food banks and community organizations, dairy farmers were able to turn their entire production and distribution network on a dime, reducing what is normally a 2-year planning process to just 2 weeks, moving much-needed dairy products off their farms and onto the tables of Arizonans.
The community that we live in, we're all relying on one another.
We are blessed with a great climate and good farmland that's highly productive and that can feed our local communities. I just love the history of the relationship between cows and people. We have been together for thousands of years. That relationship is still there and still alive, and I think will continue on into the future. And I want to be a part of that future of what taking care of cows looks like and how we can solve solutions with sustainability and recycling our resources and renewable resources. And to me, that's what makes it really fun to just be a little piece of that legacy.
From zero to nearly $2.5 million. That's the difference in economic impact Rail CDC achieved for more than 200 small businesses in Mesa and Tempe, 90% of them owned by people of color, giving them access to the Paycheck Protection Program funds they needed to survive the pandemic.
We focus on a place. The light rail corridor in Mesa and in Tempe, these corridors have been very disinvested in for decades.
And so one of the things that Rail CDC really tries to hone in on is who are the people that get left out? Who are the people that need the most help? Lower moderate income communities, marginalized communities, Latino communities, Black communities, Asian communities. We go out into the community, we introduce ourselves, so we're knocking on doors, and it's not the first or last time they're gonna see us. And
because we focus on this geographic area, we get to know the businesses in those areas, and they get to know us. A lot of times these mom and pop businesses, and most small businesses, are started because somebody loves what they do, right? Somebody loves to cook, and so they start a restaurant. Somebody loves to make dresses, and so they start a boutique. They didn't study business. It's just they're doing it out of a passion, and with passion they make it work.
Y por eso yo pienso que de nuestra parte a nosotros nos gusta mantener comunicación y estar involucrados.
And so part of what we try to do is to kind of bring in some of the business elements and work with them on how to run the business better so that they can grow, thrive, expand, and be able to stay within the community as growth happens around them. It's an understatement that 2020 has just kind of, changed everything.
I remember we started walking and asking our small businesses, how's business? How are you doing? The look on their faces, because they had no idea how they went from a $600 day to a $20 day, was something that still sits with me. It was really felt, and Rail really wanted to make sure that we were the first face that they saw, and that our small business community really knew that we were there to help them. And I remember Omar from Curry Corner also saying, like, we don't know. We have no idea how we're going to keep the lights on. I don't even know how we're going to pay rent next week.
Curry Corner? Yeah, what would you like? Chicken on, okay.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
How's business?
We're living day to day. Maybe last week, we had like literally, no people coming in. Just a couple of to-go orders and all that. So, yeah.
You could just see that the pandemic is just shining a bright light on all of the inequities that exist within our systems.
City of Mesa received all of these dollars to help our small business community, and it sounded amazing. On paper, it was great.
Yeah.
Have you thought about the patio program, the patio extension that they're doing right now with the city?
Oh, no.
No.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
You
they're
didn't?
doing like no application fees. You can set up patio in the parking lot, so you can like set up.
A lot of people want that patio thing.
Heck
Yes. Yeah.
And you have a big space for it here. And
These programs are accessible to everybody, but if they don't have the tools to access them, they might as well not exist.
we walked into the small businesses asking them, hey, do you know about this really awesome grant program? You can apply online. But as soon as they were applying, they would call us and say, I don't know how to forward an email, or I don't know how to use this platform. Could you help me? And so that's when we started seeing we're going to need to do a lot of hands-on work. You really have to hold hands with small businesses and let them know that these opportunities exist and that there's organizations that are willing to sit down with them. They are so in the day-to-day that they don't know. And so it was a lot of making them feel comfortable that no, this, I promise you, this help is coming from federal dollars. All they want to do is see you keep your lights on.
We was closed for 6 weeks, and after that it was so really slow.
My hair was hating it. Yeah. I got COVID myself too, so it affected me personally. Man, I lost my job, and then I got it in July, and I still got the effects of it. Like, I'm still having a hard time breathing. Even at night, I'll wake up at night, I can't breathe. Yeah, it was pretty messed up time. I had to stay in a hotel because I had to be away from my family when I got it. Because I just had a newborn daughter.
So I'm only one who's working right now here. Usually we work like 2-3 barbers. I hope it's gonna come back someday.
As the challenges of the pandemic really started to affect the business community, it affected those small mom and pop businesses exponentially.
Hi. Good, how are you? And we're just here chopping off, and well, first we're here to, let you know about the grant program that City of Tempe is doing. I don't know if you've already heard of it and
Yes.
if you've already applied. They got federal dollars. They want to spend it on their small business community. So we can help you fill it out if you want us to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I have this?
Yes, this is for you.
With the Paycheck Protection Program, we saw that first banks started working with their existing lending relationships, which are larger businesses. And then they started working with small businesses. Well, as soon as they would run into a challenge with a small business, they would just move on to the next one. And then the business owner would just say, you know what? I wasn't approved, or I wasn't accepted, or I didn't qualify. We realized that it wasn't that the business doesn't have the things that they need for this loan. It's just that they don't know what those documents are. And we connected with a community bank that we built a really strong relationship with, and we figured out with them what exactly the documentation these businesses needed. And then we went and sat down with the businesses. And so it's just those really basic things that became the large barriers to accessing these programs.
That to me means equity. Like, we're helping you and we're giving you a fair chance at these dollars because you deserve them just as much as the next guy. I said guy, but I also mean girl.
We've learned that holding a business owner's hand through all of these processes is critical. It's the most important thing, especially right now where they are just focused on staying alive. They're focused on keeping the doors open. They're focused on keeping their employees paid. They're focused on keeping their customers happy.
My mom and my dad, I don't know why I'm getting emotional. I am Mexican American. I grew up undocumented for a really good chunk of my life. And my parents came here to give us an opportunity that we wouldn't have had in Mexico. And so when I see the faces of people that struggle, it just fuels me, it burns me. We all deserve a chance to make it in the state, in the land of the free. My dad came here in the 80s, and he had heard that in America, you really could have a fighting chance of like making money for your family. And so that's what fuels me every day. So my dad's struggle is everyone's struggle that I see here. The pandemic hit home hard for us as well, and not just our small business community, but just all of our community. And so that I think that way, like, that drives me to push harder and speak my voice, even though sometimes it's a little timid, but speak my voice on behalf of the people that don't have a voice.
The economic devastation caused by the pandemic, coupled with 2020's record-breaking heat, forced many families to choose between paying the landlord or the utility company, between the threat of having their power cut off or being evicted from their home. In times of crises like these, we need to work together to provide stability, to shelter those most vulnerable among us, to keep our social fabric intact. That leads us to our next recognition. Wildfire, a state association of community action agencies, worked with the City of Phoenix to develop a technology solution that gave people in dire need access to $20 million in CARES Act funds to help with such essentials as rent, mortgage, gas, electric, and water bills.
This is our country favorite thing. Some is semi-polu. It's very famous in our country, semi-polu.
Mohammed is a political refugee from Myanmar who fled his war-torn country at the age of 10. Arriving in Malaysia with no documentation, Mohammed was forced to live in hiding from authorities for more than 14 years. During these years of exile, he was jailed several times for being undocumented. While in custody in Malaysia, he was sold into servitude in Thailand. It was only through the intervention of his uncle, who scraped together enough funds to bribe officials, that Mohammed was rescued from a life of slave labor. After years of incredible hardship in Malaysia, Mohammed was finally allowed to immigrate to the United States in November of 2019 as a political refugee.
This is my grandpa, and that one is my younger brother, and it's my father, and it's my mother. There is also same. It's my mother and my father, and that one is my little kid, Sophia.
I got a book there. A book. And I like to read those ones too.
3 months later, he got his first job. Things were finally looking up in the land of opportunity. But 6 weeks later, the pandemic hit, closing down his company, leaving him stranded and jobless in his new home country. Without any way to pay for rent, food, and utilities, soon Mohammed faced likely eviction.
I go directly to the RISE organization and I saw Lena. I asked him to help to me.
Applied for employment,
Yep.
insurance claim information.
Yep. And after 2 days, I received the letter from IRC department. It says, "Oh, congratulations! You are qualified for receive this money."
The driver license.
He needed help available through the Federal CARES Act. But without the assistance of community organizations like RICE, it was virtually impossible for him to access emergency funding.
We want to empower our community to reach their personal goals. And so that's what we want to see ourselves as a support system for our community members for the long term. And so Mohammed got connected and got over 3 months paid with his rent. He also is participating in our English classes. You know, he has less than a year in America and speaks the language very well, which proves his hard work and passion to build a great life for his family. And so he's been a community member who we've formed a great relationship with. And we look forward to seeing him grow and progress and reach all of his goals.
Before I cannot speak English a little bit. I don't know how to writing, I don't know how to reading, but now in 10 months I was here, I can reading a little bit, I can writing, and I can speak a little bit.
Lip.
Lip.
This one.
Oh, that means lip.
Lip.
So before the Wildfire system, Rice was just documenting the work that we were doing by hand.
Typically, these assistance programs require applicants to take time off work or job hunting in order to meet with a caseworker, only to discover all too often that they didn't bring the right documents to qualify for help.
We ask for a detailed invoice.
Ironically,
So he has to write
getting
all
utility
the
and
amounts
rental
that
assistance
would be
through the
paid.
CARES Act often can be hardest for those who need it the most.
The permission to enter United States.
Wildfire tightened communications and improved information technology tools to expertly and quickly connect people in need to the financial assistance that has literally been a matter of life and death.
So here. So Wildfire, different organizations. So make sure.
So they come to our organization and we collect the information from them. To do everything manually, the system, it was very hard before, now it's easier. We can put all the information, the country, if they apply for benefit before, so we know that they did apply with another organization before, or this is their first time. So with this new system, I can help, more people, because before, like I said, I had to do everything manually.
In about 3 or 4 months, we've distributed over $100,000 in rent and utilities assistance. And the form was a visual aid to see our impact. And so it really opened up our eyes to the work that's being done.
By pulling together a core team of providers, Wildfire and partner organizations were able to keep thousands of Maricopa County families safe and secure in their homes with mortgage, rental, and utility bill assistance during the hottest summer on record in the midst of a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic.
I came from different country also, so I feel what they feel every day. And I'm so happy because I helped them. And I'm so happy because I've been there. I've been in their shoes. And I'm so proud of them and proud of myself. And I tell my daughter the story every day. Every day I go home and tell her, she always say, what you doing at work? What did you do today? And I teach her how to appreciate things, because some people in different countries, they don't have nothing. They don't have food, they don't have, they cannot go to school, and they have a war. They wake up every morning, they see people, killed. So it's very, very bad for other people. So when they come to United States, they appreciate every single things they get.
What is the human? Before I really don't know what is the human. I just can't. I can feel in here. I can feel in here because in here no one come to tell us, why you black, where show me your ID, where are you from? No, nothing like that in here. So in here everyone is same. So that time I can feel like, I am also human. Yeah, I want to say thank you so much to American government for saving my life and my family life.
Economic depression, extreme climate events, social upheaval, public health threats. What's next? If 2020 has shown us anything, it's that we can never be too prepared. As the saying goes, the only constant is change. Through the Knowledge Exchange for Resilience, we are committed to reinforcing the principles of adaptation, equity, and social cohesion through the exchange of information and the promotion of ideas that build community resilience in the face of adversity, and to invest in exchanging data and knowledge between the university and community so that we will not only bounce back from the next shock, but bounce forward together to a more resilient future.
One of the things I really like about KER, the Knowledge Exchange for Resilience, is that it's bringing everybody together, the private sector, the public sector, the not-for-profit sector, institutions of all sizes, all types, neighborhood level, community level, county level, and beyond. And so bringing everyone together means you actually have a chance of having the combined intellect of every perspective and every angle from which you can build the best kinds of resilient responses. And so KER is that organizing force, that disciplining force. It's that mechanism by which those things can occur.
All of us together support those of us who are less fortunate. Piper Trust is more than a funder. We see ourselves as partners to the people who are serving the community. ASU has proven itself as an organization that not only provides an excellent and inclusive education, but it's an organization that deeply cares about the community. The Knowledge Exchange for Resilience is a great example of the importance the organization places on serving not only its academic community, but the bigger community in which it lives. So thank you very much, and congratulations.
We're enormously grateful to organizations such as RAIL, CDC, RICE, Wildfire, Arizona Dairymen, and the Arizona Food Banks, and proud to recognize them in the 2020 Recognition of Resilience. By marshaling their collective resources to save the lives and livelihoods of thousands of Arizonans, our recipients exemplify the virtues of resilience while advancing the values of our community. Inspired by these examples, we the people of Maricopa County will work together to meet the challenges of these extraordinary times.